That comic podcast.
Hello. Welcome to That Comic Podcast. I'm your host, Mitty, and with me, as always, are my wonderful psychics. First, the pantomiming Mr. Moshko.
Can I kick it?
Can he kick it?
Yes, he can.
He kicks it so well. And then there's P Features.
Hello, Internet.
And I don't know what the hell Baby Huey's doing here. He's going to talk. He might
What's
not.
going
I have
on?
no idea. But
What's going on?
And then there is the humble horror. I didn't think it through. I didn't tired. Yeah, that's about right. Buzz. Yeah, no, everybody's tired, and you've got to be dead. I'm surprised that you were able to make the recording today, sir.
Well, I feel like I had to with having done Monster Mania, so can't miss that.
Yeah. There's a little tease for what a lot of today's show is going to be.
Living dead.
I see what you did. I see what you did, or tried to do. He's a living corpse. I get it. I get it. But yeah, we've got a lot to talk about with Monster Mania because what a wild trip that turned out to be. But not only that, we also have the Peacemaker, the season 2 trailer. We also have some wildness from from one of the actors of Doomsday on Who's Fighting Who, which was probably he probably got sniped by Marvel after that one. I'm gonna guess. And then there's a lot of hoopla about Matt Reeves leaving the Batman and James Gunn getting involved, so we'll talk about that a little bit. Then there's some stuff with the Thunderbolts potentially taking over the X-Men. That'll make sense in a little bit. Supergirl potentially, no, not potentially. Supergirl did wrap, right? Wrap done. Yeah, that's done. Then we've got some pretty wild Polaris news, which I never thought I would say on a show.
Right.
So from the X-Men, so that'll be interesting. And then Jeremy Renner, after the whole "I'm not getting paid enough for season 2," has some new thoughts. So yeah, we got a bunch of things to talk about. But before we get into any of that, let's talk about Monster Mania in Baltimore, because first off, that's a Buzz show if there's ever been one. Buzz and Monster Mania, they go hand in hand. I've seen Buzz at Monster Mania more than I've seen him at Comic Cons. That's home turf for Buzz.
Finally found my lane.
But Features and I got a chance to head down there on Saturday, and it turned out to be a very, very productive day. What happened, Features? Let's talk about let's pick one. I don't care which one. Go ahead, pick one of your stories.
I mean, okay, so first story is I got to interview Mike Colter. And for those of you who are not sure who Mike Colter is by actual name, it is the actor who played...
Actual name?
I know. Just in case. It is the actor that plays Luke Cage from the Netflix series Luke Cage. And I got to say, he was super cool and very into it. Asked him a few questions. I think the main one that I think was really hit was, I asked him if he had the chance to revisit the character, where would he like to see it pick up from? And he pretty much had the same thoughts I think most of us did. He's like right where it left off at. He's like, I want to see Luke Cage at the seat of the Harlem Enterprise, running the bad guys, but also trying to like find the balance between being a hero and in controlling everything that's happening in Harlem. Like
Well, it's also such a nice flip. If we're talking about Daredevil Born Again, and we're talking about now Wilson Fisk being the mayor and not the kingpin, and we've got the new Cottonmouth.
Yeah.
Right? Essentially, that's what he's playing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I don't know. It's kind of interesting seeing Luke Cage as the kingpin moving into a season where the kingpin is the mayor. I think that's a really good place to take it.
Well, I mean, it would be like natural progression because that does happen first, and then Luke Cage in the comics becomes the mayor.
Well, what you could probably do is also have him snapped away and then trying to become the kingpin again. So you could have him like all of a sudden showing up and losing 5 years and like what the hell, and then building himself back up to the nice criminal empire.
You guys aren't going to fight with these guys. Everything was going to be cool. Yeah. But again, Mike Colter was awesome. Very into it. The moment we said Luke Cage and just a few questions about comics, that man stood up, leaned forward, and I realized like he was taller than I actually realized. I still felt like a midget. He's
a big guy.
Yeah, super huge. Pause.
No, I don't know what you're saying over there. You were intimidated. That's
he was
what
really
I'm
A little
friendly.
bit.
He's really friendly.
More
guy.
ways than one.
You know he loves this character though, because as soon as features jumped into it, he picked up on it. Like he wasn't like he was tired of hearing about the character or tired of hearing about the show. He was this dude is thirsty for playing this character again.
Well, that's actually, I think, something interesting that you brought up, Buzz, which was when you were in line to get your signature, he was talking about Daredevil Season 2. And I thought that was a pretty wild takeaway.
I heard him say that they're bringing Jessica back for sure, and that they were talking to him, and that if they do, he wants his own show to follow.
Yeah.
And
I think is not only a smart move, but I think likely, because recently we just heard that Vision Quest is going to be the last Marvel show that ties into the movies, and that they're going to be separate them quite a bit more with this, the next phase moving forward. Giving the Defenders their own shows back, probably a smart move.
Are we actually breaking news right now?
Uh-oh.
Is that,
Kinda, a little bit.
'cause I haven't heard that at all.
No,
anywhere.
yeah, that's exclusive to us at Monster Mania. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I heard
That
that
was because
live.
Buzz was in line.
Yeah, we ear hustled a little bit.
I ear hustled the shit out of that. Like, I had a relationship with the agents at that point prior to that moment, so I felt that it was like okay to kind of hang, and that was just kind of him, kind of fanboying with them about his whole gig, and the whole thing, and you could tell his people are just as much into him being into it as he is, and it's you're at these conventions and stuff. This is where stuff gets leaked. This is where people spill new things they're working on and stuff like that. And if you're in the right place at the right time, you catch that stuff.
I'm also love that I've noticed, especially with the last two cons, and we got one more of these coming up, but I've noticed that the handlers always seem to think that there's less time than there really is. They're like, no, you got 30 seconds, and then you go like, no, I want to talk to you about Luke Cage. Well, here's 5 minutes.
So I'm under the impression that you ask for less and you get more.
Yeah.
You just let them keep talking.
And you also, you have to, obviously there's always kind of people who, want to be first in line and greedy and get as much as they can get from a star, but also, you want to show that you're really into it for the right reasons. You know what I mean? Like, it's not about monetizing off of the interview or getting to talk to them. It's literally about connecting with them about something that they're obviously very passionate about still.
Yeah.
So you're just connecting with them on that level, and quite frankly, they run across this stuff a lot, but they don't run across the genuality of it. Like they're still seeing a lot of sharkness and getting to them and using them and getting information. And when they can tell that, like, someone is really cool and really into it, then they're kind of like, hold on a minute, this is what the celebrity wants. This sort of interaction. Let me clear the path for that.
Oh,
and it's like, we want 30 seconds. Only 30, no problem. And you get a minute and 45. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, when we had this in the Fireside days, when we had Frank Caliendo on, that was supposed to be like a 30-minute thing. It was supposed to be a real quick, and then he stopped. He was like, no, we're going to keep going. And then they were like, no, you have a meet and greet. He goes, yeah, we're going to wait another 15 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah, he kept pushing off because he just had a good time.
It's about what their art, their craft. It's very obvious from watching features interact with Vincent and Mike. These dudes, they are into what they have brought to us that we're all fans of. It's not just a role for them. They love this. It's a passion project for them as well.
I think that's a great segue over to Vincent, because that was the best example of you asked the right question, and because of that, you got a lot more time.
100%. So when we got that interview, we pretty much thought as we're just going to ask one question. And so the question, and thank you, Buzz, you guys gave me a great question to ask him. So, and it was that, we heard rumor that you wanted to play another hero in the DC universe. And is it true that that hero is Swamp Thing? And instantly you could tell, like, there was a switch, because he was like kind of straight up at first, and then he's like, oh, yeah. And he just leaned into it.
He leaned into it.
He leaned all the way into it.
Wilson turned into Vincent real fast.
Yeah.
Swamp Thing.
Yeah, and but the interesting thing he said about it was that he absolutely 100% does want to play Swamp Thing, but it's not Marvel that's holding him back from doing it. It's actually the DC guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Meaning, like, if it was to come to fruition, there wouldn't be like a holdover from, like, Marvel's not going to say you can't do this because you're the Kingpin. It's whatever what's going on in James Gunn's DC universe. I don't know if they were planning on doing Swamp Thing or.
Well, I think
they are.
Isn't that
That was,
something? Yeah, they're
Mangold,
doing
I think,
a horror movie.
Yeah.
They announced Swamp Thing in the first reveal of everything that he was doing with Creature Commandos, Batman and Robin. I think what it was there's still this, like, do we salvage something from the DC app, Derek Mears version, season 1?
Good. That was so
right.
good.
A phenomenal suit. You know, Derek, he's a monster actor for sure, but he's no Vincent D'Onofrio. So it's kind of like, and that's no knock to Derek. He's always into suits. He played a Predator before, and he's a great monster guy. But I don't think they know yet what they want to do. If enough, viral nature around this conversation with Vincent playing him takes off, it could be something that could happen.
Well, he could also just voice him too. I mean, that's another way they could take this. But I also think that it's not necessarily Marvel more than it's Sony, from what I understand. That his contract, because he's playing a quote-unquote Spider-Man character, which is,
Really?
he's not allowed to be in movies.
What?
So his character, that's the reason why in Thunderbolts there's no reference to the fact that there was just a blackout in New York right before we had, what's it called? The
Void.
The Void taking over. Right. So
There's a blackout before the blackout.
Essentially, a much more serious blackout.
An actual blackout.
Yeah, right. So that might play a role as well, but it also might be the reason why they can't hold him up at Marvel, because he technically has nothing to do with the movie side of things, which is a shame, because that's a character we would love to see crossover with Spider-Man, but it's more likely we're going to see Spider-Man crossover with Daredevil in Daredevil season 2, which some like eagle-eared people, I don't know how you say this, but the people who noticed that they played Spider-Man's theme song in a minor key when Daredevil says we need to build a team.
Yeah, I remember seeing that.
So there is some validity to thinking that he shows up in Daredevil, but I don't think we're going to ever see Wilson show up in a movie.
So basically in the same boat we were before, whereas, the TV shows can reference the movies, but the movies can't reference the TV shows. Kind of how it was when they were on Netflix. It was the same thing.
Kind of.
Oh, yeah, when the snap was the event, or the...
The event was Avengers, the Chitauri invasion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Vincent playing Swamp Thing is just you know why it has to happen is because he's passionate, and because every time somebody's passionate about playing a role, they nail it. It's like, look at everybody gave why can't I think of his name, Channing Tatum, so much crap for Gambit, and then we finally see him as Gambit. We were like, all right, you could do it.
Yeah.
You go ahead.
Yeah.
Features, wasn't he talking about how he read Swamp Thing and what made him fall in love with it? And it was the Alan Moore stuff, which, if you look at like Vincent's, resume of films, there's a lot of artistic impersonations in his character formats and things he's done. From The Cell to Men in Black, and obviously Full Metal Jacket is a real character-driven persona that he takes in. And so, with the books that he grew up reading and falling in love with, that made him love the character, it's a very dark, poetic, love and death situation in those Alan Moore storylines.
Yeah,
I could see him delivering a more dramatic Swamp Thing than say the guy who was in this, Derek Mears, who was in the suit for the DC app version, which was phenomenal. I still love it, but I feel like Vincent could carry that, could echo that like pain. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
he's a 100% phenomenal actor.
Do you think we would get a practical suit, or do you think they're just gonna beast him with Fraser?
Or like a muscle suit? Or,
Fraser. Fraser went all bodysuit in the cameo in the Marvels.
Well, as it turns out, he's wearing a bodysuit as Kingpin, so I don't see why not.
No, what I mean, a mocap suit.
Oh,
they will probably do a sculpted suit. The suit from the TV series season, the single season, I saw the production of that suit, and it is a suit you zip in, and then the mask goes.
Oh, it's so good. I'm just thinking with the movie, they've got such a bigger budget, and that was the reason why the show got canceled in the first place. Is they overshot what their budget was.
Mm-hmm.
Was it an accounting error? something like that, where
Yeah.
they thought the taxes were going to be a lot lower than they actually were, and they were like, "Well, we got to cancel the show." Sorry, that's why it was so shocking.
Ben Affleck on that one.
Yeah, I mean, quite frankly, if Gunn would allow him in, the sky's the limit.
Yeah, he does have a great ability to play the nuance of characters who are villainous or kind of mavericky, and he just brings this kind of otherworldly feel to him where you can not so much relate to that character, but find a piece where you're drawn in and bring it to life in a way that it's just.
No, I get you.
Correct me if I'm wrong. When I wasn't there. I watched your video cut of that interview, and did he or did he not say that they would absolutely not let him do it because of his age? I feel like I heard that in there.
I don't remember him saying that.
I'm not gonna lie, you guys are probably never gonna see this if we can't figure out how to fix the audio. So it's really up to features.
No, I don't think he said it was because of his age. But if it was, I still think that's kind of whack. Because as Swamp Thing, he doesn't have to run. It's Swamp Thing. He just.
I also think they're gonna rely heavy on CGI. I mean, James Gunn's
Probably
big on CGI.
Yeah, he could be Swamp Thing, and it's not. I don't think it's an overly physical role, and for the physicality that would be needed, he can definitely pull off still.
Maybe not. Maybe who knows? But I don't think it matters as much because they can have him play they can have him play Alex something, right?
Alex Holland.
Yeah, they can have him play Swamp Thing before turning, and then put him in a mocap suit, and then have somebody else in the mocap suit anytime they need to do action. So there's an easy way to pull. Well, not easy. It's going to suck for the animators, but it's easy enough for the actors to pull off.
There's a middle ground. There's a middle ground too with close-ups. You could be the face of it, and then you just cast someone as a stunt that's going to do all the other stuff.
So
if you shot him from the waist up, and
So let's champion that and throw a hashtag out there for Swamp D'Onofrio.
Anytime an actor wants something more than a paycheck, it's a win.
Yeah.
Every single time. It never fails when the actor has a passion before going into the movie. Their portrayal is going to be something memorable.
Yes.
So the fact that he is so gung-ho, the fact that Features brought up Swamp Thing and he leaned over the table, he was like, no, come closer.
I thought he was going to give me a Kingpin speech
about
at
this
that point.
with you.
He was so excited to talk about it.
We're talking about the wrong guy.
Yeah, but no, he was great, man.
It's my home. Protect the green.
Well, he definitely was doing the hand pump thing when he took the picture with Buzz.
That's wild. I was like, wait a minute. Is
That
that
like
like
habit to break. It
is that
maybe
a
it was his natural
tick for
habit.
him?
It might be. I mean, Charlie Cox kind of still does the far off look thing when people are talking to him.
He doesn't do that anymore. You're referring to the Han Solo when he lost the role as Han Solo, and he couldn't look at any of the people in the audition room because he was still acting like Mac Murdock.
Aw.
That's a funny story where he lost the role as Poe. He lost the role as Poe by not looking anyone in the eye.
Charlie, over here.
But yeah, so we had Super Jersey, then we had Monster Mania in Baltimore, and now we've got FanFest this weekend.
Expo?
Fan Expo, excuse me. FanFest that was
Something
that
else.
was
That was something else meant to.
Samsonite.
no. Where was that? FanFest was
Probably out
in
in Las Vegas.
in Arizona. Yeah, that was.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was. Anyway, a lot of conventions going on, and I'm a little tired.
Every week.
It's con season.
I don't know how Buzz is pulling it off. I really don't. I have
You
no
look
clue.
like you have more energy than everybody else.
Yo, bro,
I'm literally-
I mask it really well.
I've been slugging a coffee back for the last 45 minutes. It's had no effect.
And I've had no caffeine.
All right. Well, yeah, no, that is still bizarre to me. But let's switch gears here because we have a lot of newsflash news. We have no major topics, but we do have a lot of little things that have just been popping up over the last week or so that I just find very interesting. But before all of the quick news, what did you guys think about the Peacemaker trailer?
Bring it.
Peacemaker season 2 dropped. That trailer looks pretty wild.
I'm
love
sold. Give it
Fun
to me. I
character,
want
man.
season 2, like
Fun
ASAP.
characters. Fun storyline.
I want it, but I will. Is it possible that it waited too long?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
No.
Why do you think that?
because I don't care as much as I thought I would.
Wow.
It's not that I don't care. It's just that like, oh, Peacemaker, that'll be fun.
Not
And
even
then, like
because-
I'm already gone. It's like
Well,
I'm already not
you
thinking
have,
about it.
you have Superman right around the corner,
That
Yeah.
I'm way more excited for.
and that's it. That's taking all your
Yeah.
your mojo.
To be
that's
honest,
a good point.
we right before we recorded the show because they released the first look of Spider-Man Noir. Like, well, not the first look. We saw some set photos from that, but there's like the first official look, and he looks so good, and I was way more excited for that than most of the Peacemaker trailer. And it's not that the Peacemaker teaser was bad.
You're a Spider-Man guy, though.
It's true, I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that's unfair.
But nobody's a Peacemaker guy. Is kind of my point. Like,
Yes.
that's
We're
a new
John
thing.
Cena guy,
Yeah, that's true. There are some John
17-time
Cena.
champ.
But a lot of people are mad at him, right? Mr. Heel Turn. I don't know how this works.
Yeah, they're not mad. That's temporary. Anytime a big face turns heel, it's just a moment. He'll be a face again.
It is interesting seeing him lose.
Wait, who did he lose to? They're just trying to put somebody over.
I don't know. A guy tried to run away from the match, and then a guy like beat him up as he tried to run away. I don't know.
That could
It
be
did-
it.
He got
That's
punched,
wrestling, man.
and then it didn't look like it hurt him, but he acted like it really hurt him.
The bigger question is when and what. Like, when were you watching this?
It was a
Yeah,
clip
right?
that popped up.
Uh,
Don't give
oh,
me
you
credit.
find it in your feed now?
Oh, yeah, because you. You suckers.
He's been lying to us the whole time. He's
Yeah.
actually a huge wrestling fan.
And he's a mark.
I mean, they released a lot of people
He's a
last
mark.
week.
But
Oh,
here's
and
one
Cena
thing I
will be
thought
at
was
Expo or whichever one it is. He's there.
we won't be able to get those. Hopefully, fingers crossed, but I don't think so. They've kind of put a kibosh on most big interviews. But we will we will
Call it a
do our
Make-A-Wish.
best. What's that?
Oh, make our cheese.
But I did want to say in the trailer that it felt like it was a very grounded story for even though we saw Hawkgirl and Green Lantern show up, which I thought was a
Yeah.
pretty interesting cameo. Also seeing James Gunn's brother, Sean Gunn, as Maxwell Lord
Yep.
for the first time. But then as the trailer's going, there's that weird multiversal walking through the door and then who the F are you? And then he points a gun at himself.
Yeah.
How funny would it be if that's how they explain away the Justice League? That somehow he's able to figure out in the first episode how to travel the multiverse, opens up another place, kills that Peacemaker, and then just keeps moving forward in this new universe.
That's exactly
That's
what
how
they're
they
gonna
do it.
That would be
do.
dope.
Exactly. Yep, that's exactly what they're going to do.
That would be like just to open the show that way, like him just walking through a door, like, huh, what's this?
I
And
mean,
then-
to be fair, the Peacemaker character from the TV show is ridiculous enough to be DC's Deadpool if they're not going to do it with Harley.
well, they're kind of. I think they're working. Well, not really. Vigilante is more the DC Deadpool. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
that dude is Deadpool as Deadpool gets. But
Yeah.
the idea of the other Peacemaker being on top of his game. Notice his helmet was cleaner, his suit was a little different.
Yeah.
And he could just be like, "Wow, you seem like you're doing well over here." Bang, and then just just continues the story and then moving
I mean,
forward.
they
from
could be
there.
going a clone route since there's supposed to be a ton of Peacemakers, right?
Yeah,
Is it-
there's like
are
a
there?
ton of Peacemakers. Yeah, he's
Are
not
there?
the only one.
As far as I know.
I don't remember seeing it.
Well,
Well,
not
I
I mean,
necessarily
in the new Absolute Universe, there's a ton
Yeah.
of Peacemakers.
Oh, yeah,
but
yeah.
Even in his solo series that came out in like the late '80s or early '90s, there was like more than one Peacemaker.
Yeah.
They were like the Peacemakers. Yeah,
But he did obviously walk through some kind of weird door and end up in
Yes.
somebody's house.
it was like a
So
Doctor Who moment.
It was a very that was a great way. It's 100% a Doctor Who moment. So that'll be fun to play around with, but something tells me that's not a dynamic that they're going to keep with. They'll probably just make fun of the multiverse, use it to get through to and explain away the Justice League, and then act like it never happened.
Yep.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Yep.
All right, let's move on to Doomsday because Nightcrawler versus Mr. Fantastic.
Interesting.
I feel like Nightcrawler takes that.
As much as I love Nightcrawler, the one thing I have to give Mr. Fantastic is fighting him is ridiculous and pointless. He's not really going to feel anything. Like you can,
Except for he could just put him into the sulfur world and then.
Can we get the
leave- and then
backstory
be the
first?
end. Yeah. All right. So. Thank you. I wasn't expected to go into the actual fight right away. But the actor who originally played Nightcrawler, I forget his name.
Alan
Alan Cummings.
Thank you. Alan Cummings was recently being interviewed, and he I don't think he meant to say this. Well, he did mean to say it, but I don't think he realized exactly what he was saying. He said, I was just learning stunts yesterday for some fight scene. I just think I'm 60 years old. 23 years ago, I played that superhero, and I was kind of old for a superhero even then, and now I'm back doing it. And that, to me, is hilarious. I'm sort of learning these fights like, what? Who am I fighting with? You're hitting Pedro Pascal against the head. You're hitting who against the head? So the fact that he name drops Pedro Pascal means that they're probably doing the AVX storyline a little bit closer than we thought. They're probably, because they kind of made it out to seem like everyone was teaming up against Doom, but I'm going to guess that Doom is going to use the X-Men world to try and defend themselves against, like, they'll probably be the last of the incursions, just like at the right before Secret Wars 2015 started with the Ultimate Universe. And having a scene where Nightcrawler's fighting Mr. Fantastic. First off, that Mr. Fantastic is not prepared.
No,
that dude is not ready. Like, he thinks he's ready because he lost his world to Galactus. I don't know if that's true. So, but he thinks he's ready. But no, I don't think once the X-Men show up, I don't know if Mr. Fantastic's going to be doing that well against, because he could just grab him and then leave him in that in between Sulfur world. Where does he go again? Not Limbo. Where does he go again?
It's not it's not quite Limbo, but it is a demon realm.
This is why we need Huey to Huey sometimes.
Yes, it is a demon realm. I do know that much.
But that's what I'm saying. He could just leave him there, like boop, and all right, problem solved. Done. Moving on.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, it's not. I feel like Nightcrawler would do better than we're giving him credit for.
It's the Brimstone dimension.
There it is.
You know what?
Good luck, Reed.
Now that I think about it, Nightcrawler could do some damage, but I don't know if it would actually work.
He could also just put him in the ground.
Or he
could just bring him back, like, there.
Or he could take half of him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
There's some crazy things that Nightcrawler could do with Mr. Fantastic. So I don't know how that works. And, all the set photos that we've seen that have leaked so far have all looked like they're taking place at the X-Mansion. So who knows how early on into the story this takes place or how it works. But, yeah, that's
and you see that
exciting.
Jeremy Renner posted a video of him in a snow area. So they might be going to, was it Wundagore?
Oh, Wundagore Mountain?
Yeah.
Where the body of Scarlet Witch is supposedly?
Yeah.
Well, she's supposed. I mean, all the rumors were that she was going to be the love interest of Doctor Doom, like in the Young Avengers, like right before the Young Avengers took place, where she played. She was the love interest for a little bit.
Yeah.
There's rumor of that happening, which also kind of makes sense because there's also been rumor of a Jean Grey Scarlet Witch fight forever. I've heard that rumor for a long time.
And
so
Magneto comes in, says, "Girl,
Girls."
Girl. So yeah, I mean that's look. This movie might not be the greatest, but it feels like it's going to be the greatest.
Listen, give me any Nightcrawler fight scene should be amazing. Like that was probably the best part of X2.
Just the original X-Men fighting whatever variation of the Avengers. Well, actually, it'll be the Avengers, the new Avengers, and the X-Men. And it now looks like if any of those rumors that Mashko read off recently were true, we might also have the Young Avengers. And you might have the Guardians. So this is a stacked cast, man. I don't know how you pull this off. I feel like it's going to be spectacle over story, but I don't know if that's necessarily a bad thing.
I want the spectacle. I want it a lot.
Because you could really just say, incursion happening, world's exploding, I don't want to die, they don't want to die, we're all going to fight for a while. And then Dr. Doom goes, ah, ha, ha, none of us die. I took over. And that's the whole movie. There you go.
Pretty much.
With a lot of really fun fight scenes in between. So Moshko's going to be pissed.
I'm out.
The rest of us are going to love it. That's what I'm thinking. All right, any last thoughts on Doomsday before we debunk some Batman?
Ooh. Nah, I'm just ready for it. I just need it to happen at this point. I like the leaks, but just bring it on.
I was going to say, yeah, with the leaks. I feel like we're going to keep getting leaks. That's what's going to keep us like a fish on a hook to it.
Of course.
And keep us with a show.
Yes.
Wait for the show. Yeah.
Thanks for the content.
Yeah. I think they're hip to that. I think they're hip to the internet looking for the leaks, hungry for the leaks. And it's kind of like, let's give them one.
They're actively shooting right now, and there isn't a ton of stuff coming out. I mean, there's more like AI fake imagery coming out. Have you
No,
seen those?
absolutely.
See, like,
Yeah.
the Cyclops stuff. Yeah.
Well, the Cyclops stuff I've heard a lot about. That there's what's his name? Patrick Schwarzenegger. Is it Schwarzenegger's kid?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, it's his
Oh,
oldest
okay,
kid.
he is. Okay.
Well, that's right. I'm talking more Marsden with the stuff that's going on now.
Oh.
Oh,
Yeah.
gotcha. You're talking about
Like
okay. So
on-set photos and whatnot.
well,
It's
just to
all
finish that
fake.
up, since we brought it up, there is rumor of him being sought after for the role of Cyclops in the rebooted X-Men after Secret Wars.
I'm
so
okay
moving
with that.
into the mutant saga. I think it'd be pretty good. He's Golden Boy in Gen V. I feel like that's pretty good. That's a good
Yeah.
Cyclops.
Yeah. That's a good move.
Yeah, I'm into that.
Yeah, for anybody out there saying Nepo this and Nepo this and Nepo that, just shut up. He's
Yeah,
a quality
'cause
actor.
John Walker's great.
Exactly.
Yo, oh wait, sidebar really quick.
When
Have
you're
you
raised
guys
in a family that does one thing specifically, you pick up some stuff that other people can't.
Yeah.
You're
No one's
generally
giving
gonna be
Lewis
pretty
Pullman
good.
any shit about it.
Yeah, right?
Have you guys been seeing this new thing now with U.S. agent? They're like, he's stronger than Captain America.
Well, he is.
I mean, he is, but he can't beat Cap. So it's like, is it not even a point to have that argument?
Well, I get the okay. So the argument. So for anybody who's not aware of what Features is saying, the idea is that the super soldier serum that Steve got was the original iteration of it. So it was an old technology, and that Hydra's was a knockoff. But the one that the Power Broker had was a more advanced version of it,
More stem
which
cells.
I would argue is not true because it's kind of the whole point of Captain America.
Mm-hmm.
Because the whole point of the Weapon X program is trying to replicate the super soldier serum, and they couldn't quite do it, even up until Sentry.
Yep.
And everything's kind of a failure as they've been trying to do it this whole time. So, yeah, I could see the argument, but to say the Power Broker figured it out over everybody who's been trying since Captain America 1 came out doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, and I can't remember quite exactly, but I feel like in the books, the Power Broker serum was still more like of a steroid than an actual super soldier serum. So.
Yeah, I mean, you know who would give John Walker a run for his money? Isaiah Bradley.
Oh yeah, 100%.
That's who's giving John Walker a run for his money. But yeah, all right. I mean, it's an interesting talk. I do think it's funny about how much of the Thunderbolts was changed through the course of them working on that movie. About the whole New Avengers was never supposed to be a thing, which is why the original trailers all had them saying we can't call ourselves the Thunderbolts because there was a whole different plot line about connecting that to the Red Hulk. And that U.S. agent was originally supposed to be a Hulk bomb that Val convinces him that his serum is running low and that she gives him an altered version that turns him into the Blue Hulk dude. What's his name?
A-Bomb.
A-Bomb.
Oh,
That's
my
Rick
goodness.
Jones.
Yeah,
Yep,
what?
he was supposed to. Yep, that was where. And I'm happy
I'm
they didn't.
glad
do.
they did not do that.
The entire movie was supposed to take place in the vault, and they were all supposed to have shame rooms throughout the whole movie. So we were supposed to get way more shame room stuff. Taskmaster was never supposed to die. Taskmaster was supposed to be an ongoing tragic character who they all kind of sympathized as being the most tortured, as well as she had this funny joke with John Walker that she can, because of her memory wipes, she keeps forgetting that they're friends now, and every once in a while just keeps shooting at John Walker, and he has to keep his shield ready to keep defending himself. So there was apparently a lot of stuff between Ghost and Taskmaster teaming up and becoming close friends. I love what we got. Some of that stuff would have been interesting to see, but I also think that the Vault is where it slowed down a little too much.
Yeah.
And I think the Vault
Yeah.
needed to speed up. So I'm kind of happy they left that. And as much as I think Taskmaster could have been redeemed, I don't need that.
No.
So I don't miss that either. I don't wish a different Thunderbolts. I think the one we got is the ideal one.
Yeah.
And Menti, if you think about it, going back to the Captain America U.S. agent argument, Cap was able to hold a helicopter. U.S. agent couldn't even pull his shield back. After
yeah.
that.
Yeah, but he also held like a floor of a building on his own. It took everyone else to keep him from getting crushed, but he definitely held that up on his own for a while.
Steve can
And
bend his
I feel
shield
like-
back, okay?
Also, he jumped up how many floors? When he was in the chute, spoiler alert for Thunderbolts, didn't realize we were going to that. He jumps up to see how tall it is. He's gone for a while.
I mean, let's not act like Steve couldn't do it though.
we've never seen Steve do anything like that.
Because I believe like
I'm just playing devil's advocate. Why are we talking about this? Let's
Moving
move on.
I still want to see Taskmaster retconned.
Oh, I think that's probably going to happen.
Yeah, I think
Taskmaster is supposed to have his face is supposed to be really a skull.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to be a mask. And he's supposed to be this thing that can't be killed, that can copy everybody's fighting technique. I don't know.
Well, and
I feel like they did the character dirty. It's a pretty prevalent Avengers villain.
They did, but they could have at least redeemed the character in Thunderbolts if they wanted to by at least giving the personality. Because that was the big thing, is that Taskmaster was they Deadpooled. They did X-Men Origin Deadpooled him.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's how he's treated. Yeah.
But
So you could have fixed him. It's not, she could have played a version of the character as close as they possibly could, dealing with the memory loss and shooting at John Walker. There could have been a lot of fun there. But again, I don't really care.
Yeah. To be fair, there is more than one Taskmaster, so he could get replaced with the actual one that we
Kind
like.
of what I was thinking as well.
Oh, you mean like
Later on.
Silver Surfers? There's
Like Silver
We got a
Surfers?
dozen of them.
All right, let's actually, you know what? Let's stay with Thunderbolts for one quick second.
No,
Oh no,
okay.
we're gonna never mind. Let's go. Let's move over to
Let's move on to
Matt
this,
Reeves.
finally.
Even though we'll go right back to Thunderbolts when we finish. So because Huey wanted to make sure he figured out, very proud of himself, he figured out how to get the tweet on the screen for anybody who's watching.
Yes.
For anybody who's listening, that's the hold up here. But there was been a lot of rumor that Matt Reeves was no longer directing the Batman because of the pushback on the release date. So because it was getting pushed in, again, people are like, all right, Matt Reeves is out. He's taking on other projects at the same time. There's no way he can do it all. Well, somebody flat out just texted James Gunn, tweeted, or
I just shot him a text.
They X'd him because it's not tweeting. They X'd him. They X'd James Gunn.
That's a message.
If Matt Reeves is still directing the Batman Part 2, and he said yes, with a question mark. So yeah, I love that about James Gunn, that he will get back to you in the comments if you say some outlandish stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, everyone can relax. The Batman's still happening. It's still Matt Reeves.
Well, you know what's going to happen. 6 to 12 months from now, it's going to come out that Matt Reeves actually isn't directing, and then they're going to say, James Gunn lied to us.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Oh, wow.
He lied to us.
Look, remember how
Things
long
change, people.
there was a lot of discussion apparently about making Matt Reeves' Batman the Batman and changing the way they wanted to tackle Brave and the Bold and having Damian show up. Because it's just the popularity was there. He's a nice counterpoint to David Cornsweat's Superman. So there's a lot you could have done with that, but I kind of want them to just treat the Batman like a cameo character for a while.
I feel like that would probably be best.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I don't know if it would be kind of cool to see the Batman show up before there's any casting information, and for you just to go, oh damn, was that Batman? You know what I mean? Like he is, like, for example, in the New 52 Justice League, when Green Lantern first comes across Batman, and he's a legend, and then you're like, you're not just a guy in a suit, are you? When they finally realize that he's just a dude running around, but to the whole superhero community, he is this boogeyman. And I kind of think that's a cool way
That'd
that
be
they
cool.
could go.
Yeah.
Is just having him show up as this creepy thing that's watching them from the distance.
When he walked out amongst the detectives in the Batman, when he came in that first scene and the cops parted and he came out, that's Batman.
Yeah.
People are like, the retrospective views on the Batman are interesting, where people are saying that it's not as good as I remember it was. That movie
What?
was outstanding.
No, I watched it again one night, and I was like, my first thoughts of it, and I was like, James Patterson, I don't know. But he really did a great job. And then watching it again, I was like, no, this movie really was it.
Yeah,
That was it. Like,
one of the best Batman movies made.
Yeah.
All right, so let's switch gears and go back to Thunderbolts, baby Huey. But yeah, so the reason I said that the Thunderbolts might be taking over the X-Men is that the big front runner for the X-Men movie that's been rumored to happen after Secret Wars is what's his name? Jake Schreier? Shriver? Gail got it. I don't know, man.
Shreveport.
Jake Shriver. I don't know. Anyway, he's the director of Thunderbolts, and he did an outstanding job. And as soon as you do a good job on a Marvel movie, you are offered another one seemingly very quickly.
Schreier.
Yeah, right.
Schreier.
Schreier. He's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean the guy I talked about last week who was going to be the new X-Men director?
Oh, good.
Oh, excuse
Perfect.
us.
Yeah, no. Feel free to mention that in the notes or in the pre. Like I've talked about doing this for like 3 times in a row now, and you brought it up now.
It was in the message thread. I saw it.
He texted it to us.
But I think he'll probably do a good job. Anytime you get a director that's done one group film to another group film, if it was done properly the first time, I think he'll do a good job on the next one. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like bringing the Russos back to do Doomsday and Secret Wars. We know their resume, so we're expecting the same kind of greatness.
Their Marvel resume is very good. The rest, not so much.
Be honest though, that's all that matters
Yeah.
when you're talking about more Marvel movies, especially ones that you're not going to like, Mashko. All right, so moving on from there, Supergirl is wrapped. I got nothing more to say about that.
Can't wait to see
Lobo.
Lobo.
About that.
Just very excited about that movie.
Yeah, the less we know, the better.
And I also find it so funny that we, with many, many other shows and outlets, all fell for the Lobo AI art.
Oh.
when that all popped out, and we were like,
good one.
"Man, is it just me, or does that motorcycle not look real?" Turns out that motorcycle wasn't. It turns out it was AI art. But yeah, so stoked any way you cut it. I think a Superman-esque movie in space, in another world, is a great direction to go for Women of Tomorrow. Especially to differentiate it between the Superman movie that's also coming out, right before it. Yeah. So the change in aesthetic, I think, is a really good way to start it before she shows up on Earth. I think that's a kind of a cool way to go. Or I guess that's me just assuming things. They could just have her leave, but I feel like it's a better introduction of maybe her way home or her way to Earth. This is a story that takes place at the same time. So, all right, what else do we got? Neve Campbell as Polaris. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I said when I saw it.
Love me Neve Campbell. Loved seeing her in Twisted Metal. Love that she came back.
Season 2's coming real soon.
Can't wait for that.
Yeah.
But Polaris, if you don't know who Polaris is, it's
the daughter of Magneto.
The actual daughter of Magneto.
Yeah.
Not the potentially daughter, then removed daughter, and then not daughter, but then sometimes daughter of the Scarlet Witch. So this is
Don't call me daughter.
Depends on who's writing the story.
I see what you did there.
If it's Marvel, they're going to change it.
Yep. Yeah. The only other place you'd know Polaris from, if you've at least for a live action, is from that short-lived X-Men show that they made that was outside of the continuity. She was one of the leads in that.
Yeah, that show.
But she's got magnet powers.
Surprise! Polarity.
Little Miss Magnet. It's
Polarity,
fun.
Yeah.
It's fun. All right, Jeremy Renner talking about season 2 of Hawkeye. So once the rumors of him showing up in...
Once our video got out, he had to respond.
Well, so the rumor of him showing up in Doomsday obviously plays a role into this, because when asked about it, he was like, well, essentially somebody asked him, is it true that the Happy Sad Confused podcast, he was asked about whether or not there was any truth to the Raid-esque style storytelling of Hawkeye versus Brother, which we've talked about on the show before, and his quote was, maybe some of that is true, I don't know. We got into it a little bit, sort of story-wise and stuff. Everybody is interested in it, and I'm like, yeah, of course, man. I wouldn't say no to that, even though you just said no to that.
Right.
He wouldn't say no to the story. He's saying no to the pay.
Yes, it's true. Well, I will say this: a lot of people were saying, especially in the comments of some of that video, was that Kate Bishop was originally supposed to be the main star of season 2, and that he would be taking a back seat. Well, if the show is truly about Hawkeye versus Brother, it doesn't seem like he's taking a back seat at all. it seems like he's going to be doing just as much work, if not more, in season 2 than in season 1. So
think about when they were originally negotiating that second season. That was a while ago. That was, I want to say it was even before his accident. I don't have the timeline straight on that, but if it was, that's 2+ years ago, and now obviously that negotiation is considerably different. So
right.
Well, that was, he said
stories.
that in his original video. In the original video, he was like, "What? Because I got run over, do you think you get half a Jeremy?"
Ouch. Ouch.
That's a roughing. But then he was also quick to not name Disney or Marvel themselves. He kept saying it was executives and accountants. So he didn't want to burn bridges. It was Bob. Old Bobby. You're probably right. It probably is. All right. Well, we don't need to go into this into detail, but Tales of the Underworld I thought was outstanding. If you're into Star Wars animation, it is the best thing that Star Wars is doing. Tales of the Empire not as good, but Tales of the Underworld, which is Asajj Ventress and Cad Bane's backstories. Well, not Asajj Ventress. Asajj Ventress is kind of explaining more how she wasn't dead. Well. Okay. Kind of not. You'll see. It's to not spoil it. They kind of reference the book in which she is saved by Quinlan Voss. So yeah, it's cool. The Cad Bane story was great as well. Seeing Cad becoming Cad was great. Then you'll love it, and that's what I mean. As far as Disney Star Wars,
did Corey
is concerned,
Burton still voice him?
Yes, he is.
Okay.
And there's a lot of they left some plot threads open that I was shocked about. There's some things with Cad that I was like, wow, I thought they would close that up to make the character make a little more sense, but they left it open. And when you finish the story, you'll understand what I mean by that. I will be interested to see how that plays a role in future Cad Bane-esque stories, because there's no way that doesn't play a role later on.
That's on my list to watch this week, so
definitely watch it. Definitely very good.
Since we're on Star Wars, can I make a confession?
Sure.
I'm kind of not into Andor.
I'm right there with you, man. I'm right there with you. I don't dislike it.
It's a passive watch for me right now.
Yes,
it's on, which is bad because you have to pay attention.
I struggled to turn it on, man.
Dude, I watched episode 3 to finish that arc, and then I haven't been back to it yet. And I feel bad about it. Yeah,
I'm not excited.
I'm in the same boat.
The acting's excellent. I'm just not that into it.
Right.
I tried to cleanse my palate by watching Heat today. 3 hours of a wonderful movie. Anyway, maybe I'm back into it. Last of Us, I haven't.
Last of Us. Well, you said you were out.
Yeah,
you said you were out with Joel.
Me too.
Yeah, a lot of people were.
I thought it's still really good. I mean, there's some big changes from the game, and I know a lot of people are upset about the whole "I'm going to be a dad" line. And I thought Ellie's character in the game at this point, where she's angry for, spoiler alert, finding out the girl's pregnant. In the game, she's furious about that. In the game, when she finds out, she's like, you're a liability now. In the show, she delivers the line, "I'm going to be a dad," and to a lot of people, that was a final straw. Which it makes sense in the show and it makes sense in the story, and
come on,
it's a dumb reason to be upset.
Apparently, those two are not really into hygiene either.
Who said they were going to be dead? Ellie.
Yeah.
So in the game, Ellie, when she finds out that her girlfriend or pseudo girlfriend is pregnant, she gets very upset. She goes like,
Hawk Girl.
Hawk Girl. She's trying, because all she cares about is vengeance, and she's like, I don't want to have to worry about you and now a baby, and I need to get vengeance for Joel, and really lays into her. And in the show, she finds out that she's pregnant, and she has this kind of real sweet, kind of endearing, like, we're going to be a triangle parenting thing with the guy as well. And she delivers the line that everybody's been quoting and is upset by. She's, I'm going to be a dad, even though she wasn't involved at all. Like, there was another guy very much involved in that, but whatever. It's a throwaway line that if that's going to be your reason to be out, you were out before that line was given.
Right.
I was out when Joel died.
Yeah, and a lot of people are, and I also don't knock the people who were like, I'm out because of Joel, because a lot of people relate to Joel and really like the story for Joel. Take Joel away.
Right. I tuned into it because of Joel.
Right. And it's because the way I see it is, and Buzz, you and I have talked about this before, how The Walking Dead is really a story for Carl. It's really
Right.
Carl's story that focuses a lot on Rick. And that's kind of what the Last of Us was in the first game, where it's Ellie's story, but it's focusing on Joel and how Joel deals with that. Ellie takes over as the main character in the second game, which is the second season. So anybody who's already gone through the game knew this was coming and knows kind of where it's going to a degree. And the story of vengeance and the cycle of violence is still really good and I find very intriguing. But if you were only watching for Pedro Pascal's Joel, I could see why people tuned out.
I predict it'll get canceled.
It won't. It won't
No.
get canceled. It'll finish this season, and then that'll be the end of it.
That's what I mean. It'll be after this season. They won't bring
Yeah,
it
they
back.
won't.
But there's no
renew.
other game or source material.
Well, they were
Well,
supposed
didn't
to
they say it was going to be a
extend
third?
into the
season?
third.
It's supposed to be a third
yeah.
season.
Yeah.
You better
Actually,
take the
you know what?
monsters up. You better bring the monsters up.
I
'cause there's
think
only-
they already greenlit season 3.
I think you're right.
I feel like we talked about that.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, I will
Sorry
say
for the
that
derailment, everyone.
as
No,
far
no.
as the zombies are concerned, or whatever we call them, the infected, they're great every single time that they've
Yeah.
shown up, and the way that they've utilized them in better ways than the game ever did. Like the attack on the town
Yeah,
while,
that was
while Joel's
amazing.
getting beat up with the club would have made the game way better. And the only downside is that Tommy wasn't with him. Like Tommy plays a big role in the whole them trying to get vengeance part. Tommy kind of really is into the idea of taking Abby out.
April 9th, they renewed it for a third season.
Well, I mean,
Baby
I'm
you.
still
Anything can happen, though.
I'm still down.
That's because the first 2 episodes were out and everything the ratings skyrocketed.
But Joel dying is like Glenn dying. Like that's one of the things that killed The Walking Dead was
Yeah.
Negan and Glenn.
What starts to derail and to become something else than what it started as.
Joel was like Shane dying.
Yeah.
Yeah, but was Shane enough to no longer be in The Walking Dead? Like when Shane died, I was like, cool.
Oh,
No, Shane
Not-
dying in
well.
Walking Dead was fine.
It was
I-
Rick for me, so.
I'm a huge Bernthal fan.
Yeah,
My
Rick.
bad.
Rick was a final straw for me. Rick was like, all right, and then they bring Rick back, and I'm like, I don't like this show.
When we talked about Last of Us on the last show or the one before or whatever, we were always talking about like Pedro Pascal's performance.
Oh yeah.
Not
Yeah.
Anybody else? You know what I mean? I'm not saying the other actors are poor. I'm just saying that somebody carries the show. Somebody carries the show. You know, you change the lead, you lose the show.
I
That's
agree.
True.
I agree, and I do think Bella Ramsey is doing a great job for what she has. I just don't think that Abby is set up in a way where she's intimidating to be the antithesis of Ellie. Because like in the game, she's jacked for a reason. She even plays in fights when you play as her. She plays like Joel.
Oh wow.
Because it's supposed to be again the cycle of violence. So when Ellie's going up against Abby, Abby whoops the piss out of her. Like Abby is no joke, and that you don't really feel that with the actress that's playing Abby now. Like Abby needed the golf club in the show. She did not in the game.
Oh.
So yeah, Abby, like throughout the game, they even go, "No, Abby, you mean the girl with the Jack girl with the arms?" Like she's and that's because Bella Ramsey also isn't as tough as she is. I would say Ellie comes across in the game, but I do think they do a good job, even in the opening of the season where she's getting those fighting lessons and she's taking hits like that should take you out, and it didn't. That will come back around.
Yeah.
So. All right. Well, yeah, that was definitely a derailment, but a fun one. That was a fun derailment.
I'm ready for Fallout Season 2.
Yes, me too.
Oh,
goodness.
man, yeah.
Oh, I cannot wait.
Give me
We
more
waited
Walter
so long for
Goggins.
it.
Yep. In the moment it happens, I
I've got
will
to order my
re-download 4.
Walter Goggins goggles.
Back at it.
Get some Goggins goggles. All right. Well, we do have a request for us to talk about the Energon universe of the book so far, as well as what we're hoping for in 2026 from our friends at Comic Geeks and More. So let's start with Huey on this one, because this is definitely a Huey side of things, and then I really want to hear what Mashko has to say, because I don't know if he's up to date with Free Comic Book Day. So go ahead, Huey. Let's get him excited if he doesn't know.
So I'm definitely excited to see where everything's going with, everything kind of coming full circle and G.I. Joe getting more involved, and then eventually bringing in Void Rivals.
And
Say
it, baby Huey.
Say it.
I don't want to say it.
You have to say it.
Say it.
No.
I'll say it.
Say
Go ahead.
You're not saying it. It's like the most you thing in the world. All right, fine. Mashko, did you read the Energon book
I
for?
I only care about G.I. Joe. Go ahead.
What's
Wow.
up? Well, this is you might care about one more because
What?
there's
the Matt
there's some-
Tracker thing. It's
Yeah.
yeah.
You saw that?
Yeah.
You
that's
don't
fine.
care about that. You
Wow.
don't like masks.
It's not going to be. That's a different Matt Tracker. That's not the Matt Tracker.
Wow.
You sure about that?
That's the G.I. Joe version.
Oh, there's a GI
It's
Joe
not really
version?
Matt Tracker.
Oh, you guys are liars. Baby Huey got me all stoked because I was excited for
he's
Moscow.
being Moshko. It's
He's being Moscow.
he's being Moshko.
Sounds like a new John Malkovich movie.
BJ.
There was a special G.I. Joe that they
Moscow.
put out at some point. The two trackers don't resemble each other.
No, they don't. They did do a little bit of a swap on Matt Tracker, but it's planting the seeds for Mask because he's in the full suit, and yeah, I think they're testing the waters because when they tried to do a big crossover last time they tried to do Mask, Visionaries, Transformers, and G.I. Joe, it kind of floundered. So definitely planting the seeds just to see what people want. Especially with masks, the toys are coming back out from the loyal subjects. Wow. They're definitely testing the
Fingers
waters.
crossed, tariffs. Fingers crossed.
Well, Buzz, what do you mean? Did you ever get a chance to read anything from the Energon stuff? Did you read Transformers or G.I. Joe?
I read
or
issue 1, but no, I'm not caught up on anything.
Do you have any interest in it as
I
somebody
love
who's
it,
kind of
yeah.
on the outside?
Yeah, no, I like when you guys were covering all the Transformers, I thought it all looked super dope, and I love Daniel Warren Johnson a lot. And I'm sure Kirkman's doing like a good job with establishing like the universe is a solid space to tell stories in, but I'm just not caught up on like what they're currently doing. But I like the hype around it. I like how it when it came out, it hit big, and the fan base has like developed for it. I love the G.I. Joe's back. I was a huge G.I. Joe fan growing up. I think there's room in comic fandom for those universes to keep going. G.I. Joe originally ran like 125 issues or something like that.
These books have been so good. They're the reason I picked up Biker Mice from Mars. They're the reasons I picked up Captain Planet. You know what I mean? Like, there's the reasons I picked up the books because I'm not a G.I. Joe fan. I did not grow up watching G.I. Joe. I didn't really grow up watching Transformers all that much. Like, those were not franchise. I mean, I was into Transformers more than G.I. Joe, but they weren't things that, like, grabbed me as much as they do right now. And this is my true introduction into both of these worlds. And I would argue it's, for someone in my position, these are the best of the stories coming out. Like, these do such a good job of making me excited and caring. The only downside is when they try and introduce characters that I'm supposed to know and have no idea, and then they're just kind of like, this guy's got claws. And I'm like, who the hell?
That's why you have us.
I know.
You
Well,
hit
not
the old
everybody's got
internet.
you guys. Well, everybody could subscribe and have you guys, but
There you go. Look,
Smash that like button. Hit that subscribe bell.
like
You're supposed to do it within the first 2 minutes of the show.
it's all right. Better late than never.
The Transformers have had such a big impact that like even third parties now are making arm attachments for Optimus Prime figures to do the Megatron.
Third-party toy people.
Well, that's,
yeah.
don't do that. We're staying in Energon, staying in the books.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that these things did not initiate to be this expansive. You know what I mean? So the popularity of them is what's driving them to expand on it.
Yeah.
This is their opportunity to do it, in a good way that anchors in the characters to be more lovable, likable, I guess, and enjoyable.
And Megatron's back now, so I'm really excited to see what happens.
Very excited for that. Well, I also think that they both did kind of a switch where Transformers started really good, and it's still very good, but it started getting tougher to read as it got into the teens.
A little bit, yeah.
Because it just became kind of like big fight scene after big fight scene after big fight scene, and it's just kind of like, right. No, there's no slowing down to care about anything that's really happening.
I think
Where G.I. Joe is the reverse. G.I. Joe started very slow in the best ways. Like, I learned who Duke was, and really to a point where I wasn't willing to give up on Duke. And then we got Cobra Commander. That's all right. Didn't care about it
About
as
your
much.
girl.
And
Cobra
then
still-
Scarlet came in. Woo! Scarlet. Scarlet's my favorite. And Scarlet's book was outstanding. And then I really like Destro's book. And I'm learning who each of these characters are in such a fun way that when they actually do cross over in G.I. Joe, I now feel very good about what I'm reading, where Transformers didn't really do that. It expects me to know more than G.I. Joe does.
True. Yeah, I think that was the best way of doing it, was doing these little mini micro-series to introduce you to the characters.
I kind of get why they did that. Like, and to your point, Minty, expecting to know Transformers more. 'Cause, I mean, we've had, like, how many Transformers movies? And there's only but so little deviation from what we know already.
I would know.
Oh, okay.
I don't know
It's
Transformers.
at least
you guys
for
made
me,
fun of me because I didn't get the
robots.
tank right.
But as far as the G.I. Joe characters, I think that was probably a better way to introduce characters. Because, like, I've watched G.I. Joe. I don't know all the characters, and the ones I really care about, that's the ones I'm waiting for. Scarlet, awesome, and I want them to finish that series. But I want to see a Snake Eyes book. I want to see how they bring him into the fold. Like, in
I think that the Spirit book that's going to be out soon is going to. I think that's going to be great.
Honestly, I don't care about the crossover with Transformers as much as I just want Scarlet on the damn team. Like, I really want Scarlet back more than anything else, and I also want to see the
crush
ninja
on
side.
Scarlet, man.
You have
she's
no
amazing.
Idea. You have no idea. No idea. But there's also ninjas in the damn book. Like, can we bring in the ninjas to the rest of the books?
Are there
That would be fun.
ninjas?
There are.
Yes.
Plenty of them.
So-
And they should be in the actual story as well. So 2026, that's what I'm excited for. I'm excited to get more Scarlet. I'm excited to get the ninjas in the actual story of G.I. Joe, because I don't know how the hell they fit in with Cobra La and the Destro family clan and all of the
That's where
expansive world
Snake
building.
Eyes and
That's where
Storm
Storm
Shadow
Shadow
originated
and Snake
from.
I don't know who the hell
Yep.
Storm Shadow is. Snake Eyes,
You've
I know.
seen Storm Shadow already.
He's the
in Scarlet's
opposite.
book.
He's the opposite to Snake Eyes.
The white ninja.
He's the
Yes.
He's the yin to the yang. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
They
know.
were
I
the
don't
same
know. I
clan.
want to learn. Go ahead, Buzz.
I was going to say, they're from the same, like, ninja clan. And then
Yeah.
you guys is the good guy.
Was it Arishikage or something like that?
It's a bad movie, but I would say go watch the Snake Eyes movie.
No,
I was
don't watch
just
that
going to
movie.
say that actually.
That movie was trash.
That wasn't bad.
It wasn't that bad. It was a bad movie, but it wasn't as bad as people made it out to be.
Why wouldn't I just stick to the story that I know and I like and I'm happy
Because
about
you'll get some backstory.
Yeah, but I
before
don't need it. They'll give me backstory.
They may not, like Transformers.
No, the
Except-
comic books will give him a better backstory
Except
than that
for
movie, I
G.I.
think.
Joe's done a great job of making sure I know everything.
Yeah.
Like, even the stuff I don't
All right,
care to
true.
know, like Cobra La. Like, I
Well,
don't care.
there's 300 plus issues of A Real American Hero that you could always start reading.
Again, I feel like I just made this point.
Last week he tried to pick that up again.
I did, and I put it back down.
Oh.
All right. Well, that's going to be that for our grab bag of news. So we got some comic reviews, but before that happens, we have to say goodbye to our dear friend Buzz. This man deserves a nap after the weekend that he's
Some
had.
kind of rest.
Just let this guy go to sleep a little bit. That's fair. I don't think here. Let's see, Buzz. Have you read anything this week?
Nope.
Yeah, I didn't think so. I didn't think so. That's fair. That's fair.
Bye,
because-
Buzz.
That was all right.
All right.
Comic review time.
Comics.
All right, let's do this one real fast because we said we would start this way because I got a lot of last week's books in there. But Ultimate Spider-Man, let's spoil that now. It's been 2 weeks.
Man,
What a
2
twist.
weeks. What a twist.
So yes, Huey was right the whole time, and then we were all wrong.
Yeah.
Right.
Like this book is doing an amazing job of making sure nobody has any chance of guessing what's happening. So the nice thing is my hope is still true, where we have Peter having this moment of great power comes great responsibility with an evil Harry down the road, because now you've got Harry will be manipulated by his dad within the suit, as well as now Gwen, who is part of this Mysterio clan.
Yeah, one of the
villains.
Mysterios.
Yeah.
Right. So he's going to be led down a dark path. There's no question there.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I like the fact that the Mysterios are actually mystical people and not just smoke and mirrors.
Way better than just just practical effects. It's way better. Yeah, the fishbowl is cooler in the Ultimates universe than what we've had before.
Do we like, though, that like basically every villain knows his identity?
Well, there's only a couple of villains though.
Yeah.
I mean, Harry knows he'll eventually be a villain, and then we can assume that Gwen knows because of Harry. Craven knows. I mean, the whole probably Illuminati knows.
Well, to be fair, they probably would have known anyway because the Maker had this all set up prior to. He's only become Spider-Man because of the Ultimates.
True.
And that wasn't supposed to happen. So, that was a glitch in the plan.
All I know is that Ultimate Spider-Man at this point has done such a good job of laying out questions and intriguing scenarios that I will be into this book for a very long time.
Yeah.
Still the best book out there, 12 plus months going.
Wolverine's catching up, though.
Yes.
Wolverine's catching up.
Oh,
that last Wolverine book. Ooh, buddy. That was so good.
What's it
Ultimates.
on, 5 now? 4?
It's 5.
5.
Yeah.
Did you read this week's?
I fell off after the first one.
Oh, come on. It's so good.
Yeah,
Dude,
no, this was
I don't mind the
Sabretooth.
I don't mind the Spider-Man story that's a little off the wall, but I like my Wolverine. Like
yeah,
I
but
like
this
my
Wolverine
coffee.
is like so.
Yeah.
So spoiler alert.
Yeah.
We got our Ultimate Sabretooth, and Ultimate Sabretooth is so great, and we actually got a little bit of story of Wolverine's past.
Mm-hmm.
So we actually got a little bit of flashbacks of seeing the two of them together on missions and saying that if I ever turn evil, you have to kill me.
Yeah.
And seeing a good guy Sabretooth who's trying to protect mutant children
Leech and
was
Artie.
so good that I want a Sabretooth book.
Same.
I want more from Sabretooth.
It was Leech, right? And Leech,
Yeah, Leech and Artie.
that's a big deal for both of them being in the book.
We didn't even talk about the fact. Well, not we. We definitely talked about it, but the book didn't even talk about the fact that we found out where Jean and Professor X are.
That was last week.
Last issue.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, the fact that they just moved on from that and went, oh, by the way, here's Vic. You know, like,
Right.
Like they did a great job of, because I thought I knew where that was going, and especially after the Wolf book, which was a little, I don't know, I didn't think that was great. It wasn't bad, but it felt like a filler. This felt like it was really pushing the plot forward, and very, very stoked on where that's going, because the Ultimate Universe,
Yeah.
still all cylinders.
Spoiler alert for the end of it when they finally captured him, and he was like that tranquilizer is amazing. He hasn't snapped out of it yet. And I was like, oh, I get it, because he was like right. I think he was next to Leech when it happened.
Oh, Leech was standing there, yeah.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Leech being in this book is a big deal. That's how they're going to get Wolverine
Logan
back.
Yeah. And then he's going to be taking on the weapons, not the weapons program, the Winter Soldier program.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, another book where he's taking on Colossus and his kin.
Yeah.
And if we've learned anything, we know that adamantium cuts through Colossus. So we did learn that. Maybe that was the whole point of the revenge book in the first place. All right, well, Godzilla Spider-Man sucked. We don't need to talk about that.
Really? It did?
It sucked. They all suck. They all suck. I want them to be better. They're not. Features.
I thought it was a fun read. I'm not going to say
It wasn't a fun read. It was a fun look.
Okay.
It had pretty panels, and you were like, no, guess. As soon as they showed him in the black suit, you were like, I know where this is going. And it was like, I hope there's a cool way of getting there, and it really wasn't.
I mean, Venomzilla. I don't even know how to.
Simbazilla.
Symbazilla.
Simbazilla, but Simbazilla is still a Hulk. Simbazilla also just had the power cosmic. It's all I'm saying is that these books are just Godzilla going through the Marvel universe, getting new powers. That's it. Unless they tie it all into the Avengers book, where we have a Godzilla who's got all of these abilities, all of these books are pointless.
Because they're just one-offs. I mean, it's not.
Well, because they're not there to tell a story. They're just to make you go, oh, look. Like, that's really it. Where Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong, I thought did a pretty cool job of tying in and creating an actual narrative through the 4 or 5 issues.
Which
right?
I think they just announced a sequel to that.
It's coming out soon, actually.
Oh, wow.
It's
Yeah.
going to be them going into Godzilla's world, which is exciting. But they actually worked on a story instead of just going, oh, we got the race to do Godzilla? All right, somebody get something out next week.
So I hate to say it, but DC does it better.
This one, yeah. Well, we
Yeah.
said this before. Sometimes DC comics are 100% better than Marvel comics. No
Yeah.
question. Marvel is just doing so well right now with the Ultimates, but it's not like DC didn't clap back with Absolute.
No, with the last two
Man.
that came out.
I'm telling you, man, Absolute
Dude.
Green Lantern and what's it called? Absolute Superman. And I also just caught up on Absolute Martian Manhunter, which issue 2 was great.
Yeah.
So
I'm still out.
Oh, did you
Oh
read the
no!
first one?
I read the first one. Just
second
couldn't get into
one.
it.
No,
The second
you got to
one's
check
way
out the
better.
second one. It
Second
does
one's way
get better.
Because they introduced the White Martians and how the White Martians mess with people and how it all takes place within the minds of the people that are being affected by them. It's cool. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
If Comic Universe still has an issue 2, I'll grab one.
They might not. I'm going to call Mike and ask him not to make you don't deserve it.
I am going to add, though, at this point, I
Fine.
do think the Absolute Universe is killing the Ultimate Universe. And that's not normal for me to say.
Anymore, I would have said before, yes. But Spider-Man pulled that back around, and Wolverine is doing a lot of heavy lifting
Right,
now.
but those
and
are
that
the-
Cat book for Ultimates was really good. And Black Panther was pretty good this week as well.
Okay.
Or last week, I mean. So, other than X-Men, they're all firing on all cylinders. And, the Absolutes are doing it as well, but the Absolutes are still within, 5 to 7 issues. Where Ultimates are now, Ultimate Spider-Man is issue 16?
Yeah, we're in the
Yeah.
teens now for most
Right.
of the.
Yeah.
It's all a completely different ball game when you're in double digits and you're and people are still excited and still picking up books. Like Mashka says, best book out.
True.
16 issues in, that's a lot. 16 issues into Transformers, we were all like, all right.
and Ultimates,
on.
I'm getting antsy waiting for the Maker to come back. Like I
Yes.
want
True,
to see
yeah,
what happens.
Definitely.
Well, and that's a difference between the Absolute Universe and the Ultimate Universe. Is that the Ultimate Universe has this ticking clock that we all are excited to get to. The Absolute Universe has the first crossover event. Like they both have their crossovers. You've got Miles crossing over with the Ultimate Universe coming soon, and then you've got the Absolute crossover that they teased on Free Comic Book Day.
Right.
With with Mirror Master, the two versions of Mirror Master,
And they teased it
meeting
at
up.
the end of one of the last issues of Superman. With Doomsday. Was it Superman has Doomsday in it right now?
No.
Oh, you're talking about the actual Superman book? I'm not reading Superman.
At the end of one of the issues, they who did Booster Gold run into at the end of the All-In book?
Oh man, I
The
even read
Legion, the absolute version of the Legion of superheroes.
Yes.
They show up at the end to talk to Doomsday as timekeeper or whatever he is now.
Okay.
So that's a crossover.
That's the
So-
one where that book like split in the middle. Like
Yes.
it was
Yeah.
all Booster Gold in the beginning.
Yes,
and then
yeah.
you
So
saw from
the-
Doomsday's perspective.
So the absolute Legion of superheroes under the control of Darkseid are coming into the DCU or the DC comic universe.
So that's exciting. I mean, it's exciting, but they're both surviving on how well and how creative they get with the IP that we've known,
Right.
which is also ironic because fans get so upset when things take deviations unless it's explicitly said up front. These are going to be deviations, and now we're excited to see all the different ways that they would take it. With that being said, having 10 more issues and still being that exciting speaks volumes to no pun intended about the staying power of the Ultimates over the Absolutes, because like people have already been waxing and waning when Batman's only on what 8.
Yeah.
Something like that?
Yeah.
8.
And don't get me wrong, they're doing a great job with Absolute Mr. Freeze.
Yeah.
Stoked on
Actually,
where
a
that's
new
gonna
issue
go.
comes out today, I think.
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
we also have the Superman trailer today too.
Yes.
Superman trailer drops for everybody today.
Oh, and Menti, I want to put this out there. I think you're right about Mary Jane dying. I just think you might be the wrong universe.
I'm sorry, what?
Ooh, you think they're gonna kill her in the main universe?
So, I stupidly read the next issue of Venom.
Why?
And apparently something happened on a molecular level, and Venom is bonded to Mary Jane, whereas when they separate, they still have to be touching each other, or one or both will die.
What?
I don't like Venom anymore.
You know what?
Yeah, so
They've made Venom bad.
I think this may end with one or both of them dying.
Yeah, for a little
My
bit.
money's still on the kids.
There's no kids in this universe, pal.
Oh, I thought we were still on Ultimate.
No, we're talking about how Venom is now
In
Mary
the main
Jane.
in the main universe, how
In the
Mary Jane's
main
bonded
universe-
with Venom.
It shouldn't be Mary Jane. It shouldn't be Venom. It should be
I agree.
Paul. Let's just leave. It should be Paul.
And then we can kill Paul.
Yeah,
Paul's
let's get him out of
Paul's
there.
gonna die. Dead Vereen and Wolverpool are coming for him, and I thought how stupid of a book that was, but now I'm so excited just to see Paul get shot in the face. I'm so into it. All right, let's go through the rest of this week's book. So, Absolute Superman. Whew, that's the winner. Dude, Absolute Brainiac.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
He is
It
so
was
cool.
This was a creepy book.
Creepy as hell, and that's
Dude.
what he needs to be. They got
Yes.
it. They nailed making him interesting and different. Like, I love how psychotic he is.
Yeah.
Because he's usually like meticulous with
Yes.
his planning and stuff. This guy's chaotic.
Well, yeah, and it's like you said, meticulous, but I think adding that element of chaotic and more, making him more sinister, whereas Brainiac before we knew was like more robotic, which he is to a certain extent. And I like him being like, I'm going to take you now, like just melting people's bodies inside of armor. That was crazy.
Well, the
Yeah.
fact that he's the Butterbot from Rick and Morty. You know what I mean? Like, what is my purpose? You get the butter. That's like, what's my purpose? Clean up this mess.
Yeah.
That's it. And then he just goes crazy because there's no mess to clean up anymore. And then main Brainiac kills himself.
Yeah.
When he finds the body of main Brainiac, and he's like, so I guess I'm Brainiac now. Yeah, great book.
Yeah.
So the showing at the end was Peacemaker, that he's kidnapped Peacemaker. Do we think he's turning Peacemaker into this universe's Metallo?
Ooh. Baby.
Because
Huey.
he's got the kryptonite now, and you see that he's like basically grafted all this metal and stuff onto him. It might be their version of Metallo.
It's an interesting idea. That's a really cool idea. I like it. Let's put a pin on that. That might be a mic drop moment right there. Let's remember this, and we'll come back to it. But yeah, Absolute Superman was the winner this week. Ultimate Wolverine was the follow-up. Absolute Green Lantern was
That was
right
really
behind
good.
that.
Yeah.
Also
yeah.
really good. Really excited for Abin Sur. Whew. Abin Sur is scary as hell too.
He has smoke for everybody. I don't even know why for.
But he felt like almost like the Predator. Where,
Yeah.
like, we don't know what the judgment was. But the way he was just judging people and they were dying, it was like, oh my God, this is a really dark version of the Green Lanterns. Like, this is, like, we're all worried about Hal and his black hand, but that's nothing compared to Abin Sur showing up with his ship.
Yeah, it kind of almost made me feel like Abin Sur was like the guardian, like the Guardians of Oa, but he was the one dishing out like, you're going to be a Green Lantern, you're going to be a Green Lantern, you not so much.
That guy,
Yeah.
stupid ass guy. Guy wasn't much of a warrior, was he?
Hey, come on, leave Guy alone.
You
Stewart
weren't
was
judged.
cool.
Yeah, I like Jon Stewart's character.
Stewart was cool. He was cool. All right, that's also a win book. Let's talk about Captain Planet because, man,
I didn't know that
read
came
that.
out.
Was that good?
honestly, I wasn't going to talk about it until I saw that Moshko also read it.
I wasn't going to read it until I saw someone else did.
Yeah, I read it. I knew I was going to read it once I saw that they were doing it because I'm very excited about them bringing back older characters because Dick Tracy was so good. G.I. Joe has been so good. Biker Mice from Mars was really good. The Transformers are really good. So bringing back these old properties, I was like, hey, Speed Racer's coming back. The Phantom's coming back. I want to check them out, see how they play around. Like VR Troopers, for example, is very much not VR Troopers, but I'm excited to see kind of how they play around with the IP in this new world. So I thought this was going to be more of an adult version of Captain Planet, and it is not.
Nope.
Oh, no?
It's not that great.
No, it was like cartoon for me.
It very much. It was
Like,
like cartoon
oh, God.
with comic art.
The art is nice,
Great,
but it reminded me of the cartoon.
Story's
way
not
too
interesting at all.
So it's kind of like the Turtles Saturday Morning Adventures that they're doing now.
I don't know. You're the only one who reads that. Yes.
I've only read a few of those issues.
So no one got turned into a tree is what you're saying.
No.
I mean,
he
sooner
threw a
or
tree
later.
at somebody. No, was it a tree or was it a weird like fireball root?
I don't know. There was a giant wave, and then water came, and
Yeah, Gaia gets
grew a tree, and
attacked,
they got out of
he,
the flood.
He gets shot somehow.
So
And
does
then-
this like pick up in the middle of like the cartoon series?
Gaia is
or-
trying to explain. No, it's a reboot.
says-
Gaia is
yeah.
trying to
Okay.
to escape, and she has all the rings already, and they're really after the rings. Whoever they I forget who the main villain is, but they show him at the end. But then she releases Captain Planet. Captain Planet does his best to defend her, but then ends up getting shot of all things. So as he's getting shot, she then sends the rings out like she's one of the guardians of Oa, and they go and find all of the normal people. And I will say, Hart does some stuff. Hart's gonna come around and be the one, like his heart comes across like the red.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like how Beast Boy like controls the red. But for anybody who doesn't know what that means, the green is when you control plant life in the DC universe. Red is when you control animal life. And the way that he had a snake and a lion and a tiger all coming after this guy in this like endangered animal preserve, and the way that he was like manipulating them to like scare the crap out of this dude. I was like, wow, Hart's going to turn out to be the one to watch out for, because snakes and stuff.
That's a very different take from the cartoon than I would
Hart.
Yeah. I was like, oh no.
Well, it wasn't good. It wasn't good. I'm not going to get issue 2. It's not great. Issue 2 I am going to get, though, is Star Wars #1 was great. Enjoyed Star Wars #1. I'm interested to see, Mashka, you didn't enjoy it? Or
It was just a quick, easy read. Like, it didn't, nothing stood out. I'm a sucker
I like
for
the
#1,
setup.
so.
I thought the setup was pretty nice, and it isn't an actual #1 like it's introduced. It is introducing obviously a new story, but it's very much a continuation of the last Jason Aaron's run. Well, I guess it wasn't Jason Aaron's the whole time, but the guy who's with Han Solo is a part of the Bounty Hunter War book. He kind of looks like the Terminator, and he's got blasters for hands. But he's partnered with Harrison Ford's Han Solo, which is awesome. Getting more. Honestly, every time Luke shows up or Leia shows up or Han shows up, it's amazing how much more forgiving I am for pacing. For real, every time Mon Mothra and Leia were going back and forth, normally if this was Andor, I'd be complaining. but I'm like, go ahead, you tell her, Leia. So it's fun. It's after Return of the Jedi. It's Green Saber Luke. It's them losing, the New Republic losing trust with the surrounding old Empire colonies. I don't know what you'd call them. All the people underneath the Empire no longer believe that the New Republic is going to be able to defend them, so they kind of create their own, I don't know, group.
colony, space colony.
Militia.
Militia, yeah. And they're essentially saying, like, if the New Republic shows up, we're shooting you.
Oh, wow.
All right.
So, yeah, it's Star Wars, and it's new Star Wars, and it's Luke Star Wars, so I'm in. So it's a win for me. Not the greatest, but not the worst.
Yep.
Amazing Spider-Man 3 was a lot of fun. I'm really enjoying Norman Osborn as a hero. I really like the dynamic between them. And I thought Itsy Bitsy, while originally was annoying, and I know she goes back to Deadpool Spider-Man books, but she's a character who has a little bit of Spider-Man DNA and a little bit of Deadpool DNA, so she's a very bizarre character. But she has an attraction to Peter. So while she's supposed to be killing him, she has a hard time doing it because she's attracted to him.
I couldn't remember if I read issue #2, so I didn't read issue #3.
Yeah.
So I should have just read issue #2 to read 3.
Yes, you should have done that. 3's worth it. 3's good, and I like Itsy Bitsy, and I really like Norman Osborn. Norman Osborn as a good guy has been a lot of fun, and especially coming off the heels of the cartoon, it's amazing how quickly Norman being a good guy is something something I'm just accepting.
Oh, so it's believable.
Very much so.
Huh. Okay.
Very much so. Hobgoblin is the big reveal at the end, and that's who's the big main villain's going to be for a little bit. So it's Hobgoblin and Itsy Bitsy. Itsy Bitsy's very funny because partly Deadpool.
Kingsley for Hobgoblin, or
we don't know. We don't know. It's Dragon Goblin.
Oh,
where he comes. He's got the big wings and the fire sword.
That was Kingsley, I thought. It might be.
My favorite is the echoed ad libs from Moshko. Fire sword. Then you just hear fire sword. The ASMR follow up.
I'm staying engaged.
Well, tell me about Blood and Thunder. What is that?
Dope.
Dope. Oh.
I almost want to say I talked about this a while ago, but I think it was a different Kirkman book. But this is from Image, Skybound. Kirkman's attached to it, but it doesn't have a whole lot to do with it. Apparently, they pitched this book like years ago and just never got around to doing it. But the primary person in is Blood. So basically it's a bounty hunter that has an AI-enabled gun.
Oh,
and
cool.
it's like a giant gun. So it's like Jarvis.
Judge Dredd almost?
Well, no, it's bigger.
Incendiary.
But it has like its own personality and everything. The first issue is really just a lot of world building, which is really cool because they do this whole thing with there's like a weather report, and there's different levels to the world. So on the top level, it's like it's going to be sunny and this and that, and then the next level, there's going to be some rain and some runoff, and by the time they get down to the lower level, all the poop and shit's going to be rolling down.
Oh no!
There's going to be flooding, and so.
What is that? What is that movie? The Netflix movie where they have all the food on the
Oh,
conveyor?
the platform.
Platform.
Yes.
Is that
Platform,
kind of like what
Platform
you're
that
talking
movie
about?
was crazy.
Yeah. I mean, no, it's not. I'm trying to think of a better way. If you can almost think about the what's Harrison Ford made a remake, not a remake, but I can't believe
Blade Runner.
Jesus. God, I should know that.
You should, because I've never actually seen Blade Runner, so the fact that I got it right.
Yeah. Oh, they're great. Great movies. But like there's
I saw the remake.
There's
or the
like a
reboot.
higher level, but how the lower level was like really seedy and disturbing.
Yeah.
Kind of the same thing with this. But you're going to find more out about the character. I want to say the character is even possibly a cyborg, but I'm not sure right offhand. But
Well, so this is a guaranteed issue 2 for
I'll
you?
definitely check out. So it's like anything Kirkman touches right now is like it's just you can't go wrong. Like with the Beast something is next
Battle
week
Beast.
or
Is
Battle
no,
Beast.
I think that's this week, isn't it?
Oh, I need that.
Is it Battle Beast this
so
week?
Let's find out.
It might be. Is this what, the 13th?
Absolute Batman, Ultimate X-Men, Transformers. Oh, it's a good week. Ultimate Black Panther. God
Yeah.
damn. Oh, One World Under Doom. Batman Dark Patterns. Oh, no.
Uh-oh.
This is a bad this is Wolverine, Daredevil. This is a bad week for us. Battle Beast. Yep, Battle Beast.
Oh,
Okay.
goodness gracious.
Oh, this is
Yeah, so
going to
we'll
be...
have-
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, Godzilla
Oh,
versus the
Jesus.
X-Men.
Oh, no.
Oh no.
This is going to be a rough week.
Wow.
Jedi Knights. Oh, no. These are all good things. We're saying,
Daredevil.
oh, no.
Yeah, right.
It's amazing. We're saying no, but we're actually... Oh, no. Gwenpool #1.
Battle Beast. Yes.
I don't want to buy Gwenpool #1, but I kind of feel like we should.
Yeah.
I'll get it for my niece. I'll read it and I'll.
No, but it's not Gwenpool. It's not normal Gwenpool. It's actually Spider-Gwen coming back as... You're not Spider-Gwen. It's dead Gwen Stacy coming back as Deadpool.
Oh, that's right.
Resurrected Gwen Stacy.
Yeah, I
Not
want
from
to-
a different universe, right? Like it's straight
Our
up Gwen
Gwen.
Stacy.
It's like Godzilla versus X-Men.
Nah, never
Yeah,
mind.
Godzilla vs. X-Men's gonna be terrible. Let me
Oh,
guess,
wait.
Godzilla's a mutant. Oh.
Hey,
Oh,
Minty,
boy.
that hobgoblin with the sword is Phil Urch.
Okay, gotta keep that urge filled. You know what I mean?
There you go.
Huck's coming out, dude. Do you guys remember Huck?
Huck.
Yeah, Huck is like the. Do you remember Sling Blade?
The movie?
Ain't got no gas in it.
Yeah.
yeah. It's kind. He kind of plays like that, but like if he was Superman.
Ooh.
So Huck is just this sweet, simple dude.
Silverhawks.
I hurt Skull Crusher.
This is a painful week, man.
Yo.
This is a painful week.
Fantastic Four #1.
Toxic
Oh my
Avenger,
God.
but I gave up on that.
#5. Remake.
Number 5. Godzilla
All right,
vs.
well-
Aliens.
Godzilla vs. Aliens. What?
Okay.
That's a lie. You
No,
made that up.
Here there
Godzi-
be aliens.
Here there be aliens.
Oh, all right. All right. God damn it.
All right, Menti.
God damn it.
All right. I'm stopping sharing that. There we go.
Are you telling us to do that thing?
Do
because
that thing.
because you talked about Blood and Thunder, and I got to at least ask Storm, Psylocke, Ultimate, and and X-Men. Give me a little bit on them, and then we'll do that thing.
Storm still crazy. She's OP. We're moving into what they're calling the Storm Wars. She's teaming up with Thor to go against other gods of thunder.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
That's a cool book. I like that.
Yeah. X-Men right now, the actual X-Men are going up against a government-sanctioned X-Men team, and these are These are
familiar.
Yeah, no, but didn't we just see a movie about that? Is the Void show up?
You're right. But these X-Men are the humans that were becoming mutants later on in life. So this is a part of that experiment in which we were now finding out that Cassandra Nova is partly behind this too.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's still good or no?
It's still good. It's keeping me in there.
So no.
So
it's
because
keeping me in
you're the
there.
only one who cares about the X-Men, and the rest of us have fallen off on this book forever. So the fact that you went, so that means to the rest of us, it's a definite no.
Psylocke is it's.
He didn't even want to go into that. He was like,
Nope.
yeah, He's like,
Yeah.
I think you got me.
I think Psylocke, the character itself is interesting.
You're
but
in 7 issues of Psylocke.
yeah.
Wow.
It's but her books are really
all
coming
cover
off like a
bees.
side story. Yes. Cover
of course
bees.
it would be a side story because it's Psylocke.
She
Side
Yeah.
story Psylocke. There she is.
Psylocke.
And the fact that you got to cover bees feels just perfect.
But yeah, they're all right. They're cool. But Storm is probably the best one of those.
Storm sounds like the most interesting out of everything
Yeah.
that you've said
Yeah.
so far. Because I'll say X-Men does not sound interesting, and Psylocke would not do it. Psylocke.
Minty, it sounds so interesting. I will wait for Comics Explained to do a video on it.
There you go. Yeah, Rob will take us through that one.
Yes.
All right, now I'll do that thing. You can find the show at That Comic Podcast everywhere online. That's at That Comic Podcast, your social media choice, unless it's Twitter and/or X, which is That Comic Pod. But ThatComicPodcast.com is the best place to go, and you will find our merch store, which helps support the show quite a bit. So for those who have gone through and got mugs recently, I saw that. I saw a pair of flip-flops. Somebody bought some flip-flops, which makes me happy. But yeah, you'll see a bunch of shirts in there, all of which goes to help support the show. So any chance you get to hang out in there, if you find anything that tickles your fancy, please go ahead and purchase it to keep us doing stuff, because boy, oh boy, these cons are getting rough. These cons are getting rough. But we do thanks everybody for all of the support that we have been given, all the new subscribers. The fact that we're over 100 already on YouTube is amazing. The fact that we did our first giveaway and everybody got their packages. So
Yes.
Congratulations to the winners from the Super Jersey Comic Expo giveaway. I'm very happy. We got responses from both about how excited they were for their packages. So that's awesome. Yeah. What else? Anything?
Don't forget to smash that like button.
Hit that like button. Subscribe. All right, once again, I'm Menti.
I'm Machko.
And I'm Features.
I'm Huey.
Excelsior! Hold it,